Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar about the report functionality in Classter. I'm Aggelos, and I'm going to show you today some of the basic customization of the reports in Classter, what we do, what we can do with the reports, what we can achieve, and how we can configure them to reach our goals. This webinar is about it's for admins and product owners, so people who can actually configure Classter, they configure the reports. And let's start by pointing out the main menus and main screens in Classter where we can find the reports. The first here you can see I'm logged in as an administrator. Here is the full view where I can see reports. Let's start by the obvious menu over here, which is the reporting menu. Here I can open the list of all the available reports in this menu, which are general reports, not any entity-related reports. I mean, there are reports that can give us statistics and overviews, not attached to any specific entity like teachers, students, etc. So let's open this one, for example, which gives us an admission overview. And let's select current academic year. These are the report parameters, which are built in the report itself, and they are presented as they are presented in the report designer. We will talk about the report designer later. So here are the parameters. The developer defines the parameters in the designer. So here I select the academic year. I select any location. Let's select them all. These buttons select and deselect all the locations. Where this is actually terminology. This can change. The terminology here can change. And here, let me select some years which I know that have data beforehand. So year 10 and year 11. And if I click on preview, I can see this is the layout of the report. So here I can see the statistics and the information that I need to see. So this way we open all the reports. We have the export button over here. We can export to Microsoft Excel, to PDF, CSV, and Word. If I try to export to PDF, I will get a download of the report here. So you can see I downloaded the report. So the same way we did here, the reports working across all across the platform. So let's move on to other screens or menus that we have reports. We have reports here in the classes list. We have a list of reports which we can add and we can see here. We have reports. I'm not going to expand and select all of them. I will just point out the most important ones and the ones that we need to care about, some dependencies and which is like student list here. I can see a list of reports over here. And of course, as most of you probably already know, we have reports in the student profile. Okay, this button here expands another list of reports. We will see in a later stage how we can configure them. That's the point. That's the main topic of the webinar. So all these reports are configurable with some dependencies. We will see them in a while. We also have reports in educators list over here. See some what we have configured here. Let me. These are the main report screens. We use report. We also use reports for marking and duties and timetable and financial agreements. So let's see. We'll see in a while how we configure them as well. We also have two other a new functionality in Classter that we recently introduced is the bulk report functionality, which is available for students and for general purposes. What I mean is the following. Here in the student list, I can select as many students as I want, and I can, by pressing the bulk actions, I can send the bulk report notification. These can apply either to selected users or to students of a selected class or selected year, but let's stick to the selected users. And this functionality enables us to send the report that we wish to as an email to the selected users or export the data in a zip file. We will see in a little bit how we can do that. So this is the one bulk action report functionality, and the other one, the general, lies here in the quick actions, the blue button over here, actions menu, and there is this bulk reporting tool, which also contains some reports, which I have none of it right now, but I will enable one so I can show you how you can do that. So this, let me say about these bulk reporting actions that we added this functionality so we can run reports that take a significant amount of time to run that otherwise could not be generated in our portal. So this is a new functionality which I will show you how we can use it. Now, we have the principle that most of the reports must be set to a role. So in order to the users to be able to see them. So we have a dependency with the role, which is we can configure it here in the role management. Let me open it in a new tab. Here in the role management, we see all the available roles that we use. On the right-hand side here in this column, you can see all the types of its role. Okay, and if I edit a role like this one, like the admin, I am an admin. In this case, we have here the reporting menu, which if we click on it, you will see all the available reports for this role, and the enabled reports, the one that the users of that role can actually see. And here the viewing column specifies the menu in which the users of that role are able to see the report. So before we configure that here, let's go to the advanced configuration, which is one of the main, which is the first place where we configure the reports. Let me say here that only administrator and system owners have access to that menu over here. So in the advanced configuration, in the reporting section, we have the report designer. If I click in the report designer, this is the filter I used previously, we see all of the reports that we actually have available in Classter, the default ones and the custom ones, and the ones that you can upload, and I will show you how you can upload them in a while. So here is the list with the reports. Let me find this. I have a search button over here. Let me find this one that I opened previously, the admission overview. So here I find the report that I wish, and let's take a look at the properties, at the available actions in the property. So here in the actions, you see that there are three options: copy and edit, edit properties, and refresh. Okay, so let me check the properties first and show you what we can configure here. So here we have the report name, which is not configurable, obviously. We have the friendly name, which is a name that we define for that report as a default name. Okay, this can be configured differently in the roles that the report is available for. Okay, so this is the default name, but we can change it if we wish in the role itself. The report type is RDL, and here are the user types that we make this report available for. It's admins. The specific one is available for admins, partner employees, staff employees, and general admins. We can, if I click on here, I can see other user types as well, but have in mind, and this is something that we have to be very careful, that not all the user types have access to the same menu. So every report cannot be available for every combination of user type. So next we have the selection property. It's none, single select, multi-select. This is the most common option is none. Single select and multi-select are used for reports that we enable in grids, like in student list grid here. You see that this button over here, if we need the report to run using the selected students or the selected entities, actually, we need to configure this as single select or multi-select. Please don't confuse this with the bulk notification reporting. This is something that we will be generated on your screen, while the notification reports will be sent either as notification or downloaded in our computer as a zip file. So I will show you in a while how this works. So let me reopen it. Properties. Here is the category. The category. These are the categories available in Classter. They have a connection with the modules. So what I mean here is that each category that we set here must be a category of a module that we already have in Classter. So, for example, if I set this report in billing category and I don't have enabled the billing module enabled, this report will not be visible for any user because I don't own the billing module. Okay, this is an example. So this is the category of the report. We group the reports under the category in the reporting menus. This is the viewing. So this works exactly the same way as the friendly name. This is the default viewing. We can configure this in the roles. So the same report can be visible in different menus for different roles, but we have to be careful here because there are dependencies that I will explain later on. And the last choice, the last option here is the enable bulk actions for. So if we enable this, one of these options, the report will appear either in this menu, the bulk report notification, or in the bulk reporting tool. We'll cover them both in a while. So these are the core properties, the properties that we can set for the report. And now let me show you the other options. The other options are copy and edit and refresh. Okay. And now there is a question of how there's a following question which says, how can I create a report of my own, or how can I amend the report a little bit? So The answer here is that since this is a default report that we provide, that Classter provides, you can never actually amend this or edit this report. But what you can do is create a copy by clicking on this button. Okay, and here you define a report name. I will. It's mandatory, obviously. I will name it admission overview. Sorry, admission overview bulk, because I intend to use it in the bulk actions menu. And the friendly name, let me copy this and add some spaces. So this is what we see. If I click on save, you see that my search criterion is the admission, ADMI. So this report appears in that list as well. So if I press actions right now, you see that there are more options available for me because this is now a custom report. I repeat that this, I have to say here that this option, the copy and edit option, is available only for single DB clients and owners of single DB clients. So single DB clients can copy and create their own reports or amend their own reports. So if you see here, I have the properties button again, where I can set the properties. And but what I need to do is, if I want to edit and amend this report, is that I have to download it. You see here that it is downloaded locally in my computer. I click to open the report. At that point, let me say that you will need to have the report builder installed, which is a tool that enables us to create and edit the Microsoft Reporting Service reports. So let me open it here. So this is the report designer actually. Okay. So let me do a small amendment. Here you need to be familiar with this tool in order to know how to edit the designer, delete columns, add columns. This is for the visual part of the report. So let's remove, for example, this column over here. I remove this column and let me drag this a little bit so I make this column a little bit bigger. So I just remove the column in the designer. Here, then we need to save the report. Okay, so let's save it. And now I have here in Classter have a version of the report which is old, and I need to update it with the one that I just edited. So in that report, I press on actions, I press the upload button. Here it prompts me to select the report, the file from the place where I just saved it. This is the one. So if I open this and press upload, the report is uploaded right now. So every time, this is something that you need to do every time you upload the report, you edit and upload the report, you need to click on the refresh button. So your changes take effect immediately. So we covered all these buttons and their functionality. We have, of course, we have the delete button for custom reports, so you can delete it if you want. So now I said before that we intend to use this in the general bulk reports menu. So let me configure it a little bit. So if I edit the properties, this is the name. It copies the properties from the original report. So these are the users that I let them be as it is for the time being. I am an admin after all, and I will run it to demonstrate you the result. So what we need to change here is that we need the new report to be removed from the reports form, which is this menu over here that the original one exists. And actually, sorry, let me do it from the beginning. You see, if I will bypass this step, and I will show you why in a little bit. We need to make this available for general exports. So once I do this, there is none becomes the default viewing, because this is a specific menu, and we cannot, the general export is a specific menu, and we cannot preview this report in another menu. So if I save this, now that I have saved this, remember that we said that all the reports, the majority of the reports is role dependent. So I need to open the role, edit the role, the admin role, because I'm the admin and I will need to run the report. And this needs to be done in every role that we want to enable the report for. So if I edit the admin role and go to the reporting section over here, let me search for this admission report. So here you see that this report is disabled by default. So this is the new report that I just created. So if I click on here, you see it doesn't ask for a viewing because it's a specific place that this will be placed. So if I enable this and save, I can also change the name. Let's say, for example. So if I save and close, let me close these tabs. Now what we need to do is actually log out and log in again so we can see the report. But what we can also do, which has the same result, is click on the academic year again, the academic period, and let's see if this report now is available here. So as you can see here in the bulk reporting tool from the actions menu, the report is available. The name is a name that I defined in the role and not the default one. Okay, this is something that I mentioned before. So once I select the report, the exact same parameters that I keep that I set in the designer appear. Let me go for the location, select them all, and let's go for year 9, year 10, year 11 again. So we click next, and here we are asked to enter a file name. So let's say overview export. There is a character limitation here. I can add some CC recipients if I want, and I can also export this to Excel. So this bit over here, this toggle, just changes the format. Either if I leave it to off, it will be a PDF. If I set it to on, it will be an Excel file. So if I click on finish, I'm told that the process will be executed asynchronously, and I will be notified with an internal message when this is over. So let me go to the messages. So here I see that at that time the bulk report request is completed. So let me open it. And now from that button over here, I can download the report if I click here. And the report is downloaded. And this is the new report. Please note that the column that we removed from the designer is removed. So this is a totally new report. So this is about the bulk reporting exports from the actions menu. Now, I would like to go to the student list. Let me search for a student. So let's review this one. So here we have a list of reports. As any other menu, these reports are enabled in the role, which in the admin role for a specific viewing menu, which in that case is the student form. Let me open a report in the report designer. Sorry, in the I intended to go to the role management, navigate here. I am an admin, so the reports that I see in the student form in here are all the reports that are enabled and have the viewing of the student form, like this one, and this one, and this one. Okay, so let me try to run a specific report that I'm going to use later on to add it in the student list and in the bulk report notification from the student list. So this is a report that gives us the agreement change log, the financial agreement change log, some details here. So I close this report and I try to find this in the report designer from the advanced configuration. So this is the one. So let me copy and edit it so I can create a new one. Agreement change log student list. That way. Save it. So here is the report. So let me, I don't need to edit the report itself in the designer. I just need to enable it in the student list. So this has copied all the properties from the original one. So I can remove this viewing here and enable the student list viewing. Here, there is a selection attribute that we property that we discussed before. Let me do it. Let me set it to multi-select. So we created a new report, a copy of an existing one that is actually a multi-select report for enabled in the student list. So, and this is the default viewing. So if I save it and try to and actually navigate to the role management, because remember, we need to enable it in the role so any user of that role assigned can see that. So I'm an admin in the admin role. And if I search for here it is. If I enable this in the student list, which is the predefined viewing, and save it, I will once again need to reload Classter, refresh it. So if I go, if I navigate to student list and see the reports here, you see here under the billing section, which is the category of the report, there we have this one, which was just created. If I click on that, nothing happens. This is because we said that this report is a multi-select report, so we need to select one or more students, entities actually, in order for this report to run. So if I select student here and run the report, you see that the same result will be generated. If I select another one and the third one and run the report, hopefully you see there are 3 pages generated. This one, the other student has only this data. First student, the second student, and the third student. Okay, so there are some dependencies here that I mentioned before. In that screen, both in that screen and in the student profile screen. In this screen, for the reports of that menu here, the reports that work here need to have a predefined parameter of the student code, because we talk about reports for specifically for students, so we need to declare which students we want the report to run for. So if you ever need to set a report in that screen or in the student profile here, I strongly suggest that you use a report that already exists in these menus and copy and edit this one, so you don't so you have the parameters ready in the report and you just change the layout. So this is about the student list reports, the single select and the multi select. Obviously, if I set this the attribute to single select, it will only let me run the report with only one student selected. Now let's talk about the notification, the bulk report notification. So let me do exactly the same thing with that report, but this time I will set it to the bulk report notification menu. So let me copy this one. I will create another report. Okay. So call it bulk. Bulk export. So this is the report here. Let me edit the properties again. Let me also edit the friendly name. So you see that this will appear in the role management when we will try to enable this. We don't need this as a selection, so we go in this option here and select the student export student list. If we save and now navigate to the role management, admin again. Please note that these the bulk reporting functionalities are available only for admins. Okay. And if I here and find this report, I enable this. You see the test was added here. I will amend it and add demo. So if I save and close, and reload. Let me navigate to the student list again. Search so I can have the results. Select students. I will use it with the selected users option. So I select the method is the selected users, and I don't want to send an email. I just want, which I can do actually, but for the purpose of demonstration, I will do export data for me. I click next. You see here the report that just created appears. There are no parameters. If you remember when we ran it, there are no parameters. It's not like the previous report. So, but that's not a problem at all. I click next. And I also write the file name, test demo export, and I click finish. At this point, I would like to say that this functionality will again create one report per selected entity. So here I expect a zip file containing 4 reports, 4 different files. So let me see here in the message center. You see here is the second notification that my bulk export request is completed. And now you see that I click here to download the zip file. So the zip file was created and it contains indeed 4
different reports. 1, 2, 3, and 4. If I select the send us email, all these students would receive an email containing each report as an attachment. So this is about the authentication exports. We also have some reports in academic tasks marking results. Here we usually enable and set reports that are general about the marking or the financial accordingly. So if I go for I don't know which one to use. Let me use this one. You see, these are the report parameters. You see here, this is the layout actually of this report. So I have a report that gives me the returns the final marks per group and subject. Okay, the same applies to the financial overview menu under the financial tab. Here I have a report button here, which there are many reports that I can monitor the transactions and it's actually the financial overview given by reports. And we already showed the reporting tool, so the reporting menu. So I would like to move to the student portal, where here we have four main entities, four main screens. Sorry, four main menus that actually contain reports. First one is a timetable. Let me open it in a new window. So we have the timetable view here, but we have this print button over here, which actually generates a report that I configure in the student role, in its student role. So this is provided if the student wants to download it and print it. So we have this report here as well, which, as I said, and I'm going to show you from the admin side now, I can configure it in the student profile, in the student role, sorry. In the reporting, we see that this portal timetable student is enabled in the student timetable view in. So we need to configure this in order to have the report in that menu. We also have the, this is more K-12 related menu. It's the report of the classwork homework, the duties report, which works under the specific date selection. Let me add the date here and all the date that contains some data. And here I see the duties, and the print button appears, which same way the timetable works, prints all the duties in the layout that this is the default layout, but you can always edit it the way we showed before. Again, this is the report, student homework menu, enabled. Okay. Same applies for the bus, for the transportation menu, but I don't have any configured here. And the other major screen is the term marks. So student term marks. Always there are these two parameters here. So this is the K-12 Institute. So when I press the preview button, I have this screen. This can be configured as following. I know beforehand that the student is registered in the year one grade. So this is not the typical configuration. This is configured either from academic settings, marking settings, and general settings. There are two settings here that you see. They say report card for term marks, descriptive report card. These are the general and default reports set here from a variety of reports. that will be generated once the student select either the term marks button or the descriptive marks button. But there is a flexibility here that we need to set a different report in different years or grades. So what we do here is we can actually here run and see in the academic tab, we have this progress report drop-down menu. If this is set to none, then what I will see when I press the Termax button is the default report that we set in the academic settings previously. But what I can do now is that I can just select another one. So if I select this report and save, and now, although the main setting indicates that this is the report that we run in the Termax, if I run again, we see that the layout changed because we're using a different report right now. So that way, I can have different Termax reports set for its grade, for its year, or whatever the terminology is. This is the view from the student profile. Admins and secretaries and back office users actually have the exact same view from. Sorry, I'm in this. Yes, I need to find a student. I will actually find this one again. Review and edit. And here in the views and statistics, we added under the academic progress tab these term marks submenu, where we have the term marks and the descriptive marks. This is, if you see, this is the exact same report as the student, as the one that the student sees. See, so let me go here and set it to none again. So it respects the main setting. I think I shouldn't do that. I think I should reload. I probably shouldn't do it. So let me wait for that. At the meantime, I have the descriptive marks. Let me show you in the student the descriptive marks menu, which for the time being is set in the role. So if so, there is no for the time being functionality to set it in its grade, but this will be added in the following update, in the following major update, where you will have the option to add it here and close this, to add it here, like I said, like the progress report under the academic tab. There will be the descriptive report as well, so you can set it here. And for the time being, you can set it in the role management, student reporting, and here you can enable a report that under the descriptive marking viewing, you enable this report. Okay, but this that's why I tell you this now. In the near future, this will change. So this is about the term mark reports and the descriptive mark reports. Another menu that actually two other major categories of reports are the invoice and payment receipts, which are configured in the financial settings, general settings. Here, there is the financial reports, which are these settings over here. But you can set the reports per type and per type of transaction. payment transaction, receipt, return, and cancel, invoice transactions. You can select a variety of report, or you can also copy the existing ones and create your own. We can also, these are the default reports, the way the term marks work. And I'm saying this because for any of you that have edited the transaction types a little bit, you see that there is a report option over here as well, which overrides the previous one. So if I can have a report here for payment transaction, that every payment transaction will generate this report when I press the edit button, the preview button, but there could be specific transaction types of for payment transactions that run another report because I have declared this in here. So this is another configuration that we can do. And there is also the, let me show you under the financial settings. Let me show you the general settings again. The financial contracts. Here we have the private agreement report, which we can set here. So this report is the one that we can send to the recipient that we wish here, okay, for each student. And I'm going to show you how you can do this from the arrangement list. You can, of course, like in previous screens, you can add any filter that you wish. So you can filter the data returned. So here you see the analysis, but you can see that there is a student and the arrangement name right next to it. So if I select this student and arrangement and I press bulk actions, send private agreement, I select the template that I create, and this is one message per selected student. If I leave it as it is and send it, press yes, the service will send the report, the financial agreement report, which I'm going to show you right now. This is one I just received it. This is the template, and this is actually the financial agreement report. So I just created this, generated this one. What I can also do is select this line, which contains another arrangement, or I can select them all. That's not a problem. The thing is that we distinguish the arrangement and the student, and we send the private agreement. So I will not only do that, I will select another one as well. 3 students and arrangements, also private agreement. And if I select this one, you will see that, let me receive the email in a little bit and I will show you what I mean. It will send a message per selected student, which means that it will separate the reports. So let me show you. I just received the reports, the email, sorry. So this is the first one for Asim Joachim. This is the second one for Asim Mary. Okay. So otherwise, so this means that for Mary that I have selected only one arrangement, I have the arrangement here. But for the other student, both arrangements are here in one report. In one report. So we covered this as well. For now, I think that we show how we can configure the reports. Let me say that we can always in the role management, we can set reports in more than one viewings, in more than one screens. But this, you need to have a strong knowledge of what you do, what the report actually does, and what the and if it can actually work on that screen. One last thing, that if you are, and I strongly, I will show this only for people with that are familiar with the report builder and actually with a relational database schema, for people that already generate the reports of their own. We have, and we can provide the database schema documentation, which we maintain and we try to update regularly. Here there is a list of all the tables and the categorization of them and the connections between them. So if I, for example, operation student, under the student parent, we see how many tables exist, some of the values, some of the columns, sorry, and the connections and the dependencies between them, the foreign key dependencies. So these can help anyone familiar with SQL scripts to, and of course the report builder tool, to edit the data set, which are actually the source where we get the data from. Okay, so for people familiar with report builder and the SQL scripts, we can provide this, which we you can ask it and we can send it over to you. That's all I had to show. I don't think I forget something. I guess that after this webinar, you will be able to configure the main, to do some main configuration. We covered the topics of editing reports, of copying reports, downloading reports, changing the viewing, changing the user types that are able to actually see the report, have access to the report. We covered some specific and some specific views like term marks, homeworks, timetables, and private agreements. And I guess that that's all. You can always contact support, Classter support team at support@classter.com for any questions regarding the reports. We are always willing to help you. So thank you for your time, and I hope that I helped you having a better understanding of the reporting section of Classter. Thank you very much.